Hello, everybody. It's good to see all of your names and or placeholder pictures. Welcome to the WASART open house presentation. And we will get going in a minute as we wait for anybody who might want to join. But while we're waiting, if you'd all like to tell us about yourselves a little bit, that would be awesome. I am going to call on Kimberly first so she can get us started. And then after that, I will see Betsy, if you are willing to share a little bit about yourself, I will ask you next. Kimberly?
Thanks, Michaela. My name is Kimberly. I am the training director for Washington State Animal Response Team, WASART. And I joined in August of 2018 at that August open house, and went to Basin operations in September. And I am an active member in the technical rescue. I am currently the director of the training committee, and I do the best I can do to help in any capacity. And I love it.
Awesome. Thank you. As foreshadowed, Betsy, will go to you. And then Lenore, since you have turned your camera on, we'll go to you after that. You don't have to talk also if you don't want to, Betsy. I just want to give everybody the opportunity.
No, that's fine. Sorry. Hang on, there we go. Here I am. I just got out of my attic. I have been starting to tear down a chimney. So pardon the appearance, but wanted to make sure that I joined. I am a member of WASART on the sheltering committee. I have also done a couple of call outs, but I do work full time. So sometimes it's hard for me to make some of the call outs, but do what I can and continue to be a member of WASART. I just, it's an amazing organization and I've really loved all of my engagement in it. I have a dog. I've always had dogs. So I know what it's like to be up on the trail and suddenly, have your dog do something wild and, need some help. So it's, not just the small animals, but the large animals. I love the engagement of WASART and the fact that we work so well with other teams within the state, as well as, just when we get called out. So.
Cool. Thank you, Betsy. Lenore, we'll go to you. We're especially curious with the rest of you who are not WASART members, what is it that you are interested in, so that way we can make sure and cover it, and any other thing that we might need to know at this point.
Hi there. So my name is Lenore. I love hiking and backpacking, and I do take my dog with me occasionally. So I really appreciate the role that WASART plays. As far as what I'm interested in, I'm not, I'm hoping to learn about what kind of roles are out there that I might be a good fit for. I'm certainly, I'm not a veterinarian, but I'm certainly, I'd be ready to hike in and provide some kind of support, on mission, or maybe, back end admin or logistics types things. So I'm just trying to see what kind of roles are out there, but I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. We're glad to have you. Adriana, I don't want to mispronounce your name. Adriana, please correct me if I'm wrong.
All right. Hi. No, that was perfect. My name is Adriana, whatever. I am a vet tech at a feline rescue. And I love dogs. I love all animals. I have 3 dogs myself. And, I've been wanting to join WASART probably for 3 years now. And then COVID hit, things were on pause. So I really just want to know, what the next steps are to get involved. I just think it's so cool. Everyone I've ever known who has joined WASART absolutely loves it. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for doing this.
Awesome, thank you. And if I can be extra curious, who are those people that you know that already have joined WASART?
So I work at the Seattle area feline rescue. Mm-hmm. So Sarah Price is a volunteer. She loves it. And actually one of our own volunteers, her name is JJ, and she has been doing it for years. I I've also heard of just different people, you know, the vet tech community who's talked about it, who's been interested in it. I'm part of a nonprofit, Vet Techs Without Borders. And because COVID, you know, we're not able to really travel as much as we were internationally. So just doing something here at home as well is something I want to bring back, you know, as a board member to this small group of vet techs who might be able to do something here locally as well.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about you, Chris?
Hey everyone. Let's see. I was a vet tech many years ago. I was actually pre-vet, but then figured out I didn't want to be a vet because of the business part of it. But I went up and I am now a professor of anatomy and physiology. So I work with a lot of medical professionals, obviously. I have an extensive background in mountaineering, climbing, backpacking, kayak, you name it, mountain biking. I mean, I do anything and everything outdoors. As I've gotten older, I have injuries that slow me down, however, so I'm not doing it as actively. But I still love all the rope work and all the pulley systems and everything. So I'm interested in getting involved, particularly in the rescues when I have time. I'm still working full time, but I hope to retire in the next 5 years or so and have more time. So just kind of trying to see, learn a little bit more about what you guys do. I was interested in actually human search and rescue, but this actually aligns, I think, with my values more. So, yeah, I'm just interested in learning more and maybe dipping my toe in the water until I can retire and have more time. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the human search and rescue. We work with them all the time, and there's plenty to learn from both groups. So we're happy that you're starting with us, at least. Let's see. It looks like Donna is connecting to audio. How about KO? Pass is okay too. Donna, I think you're still connecting. And if that is the case, we can certainly come back. Oh, is there someone?
We could go to Penny or Leo. Leo hasn't introduced his hidden self yet.
Okay. Let's go to Leo and then Penny, and then we'll check back in with Donette and KO and then get started.
Hi everyone, I'm Leo Notenboom. I have been with WASART probably for about 7 or 8 years. It's longer than I realized when I saw some records pop up the other day. In addition to going out on call outs from time to time, I'm the radio guy, I'm the website guy, I'm the technology guy, I'm the guy who's letting people in from the waiting room. It's my Zoom account that we're using here today. And like a couple of people have already said, the thing that really keeps me with WASART for as long as I have is just the wonderful people I end up working with. It's been so much fun. These are such great people. Not only do we have shared values around animals, of course, but it's just a fun group of people. So that's basically my little corner of the world. I'm going to go hide and keep an eye on the waiting room.
Thank you, Leo. How about you, Penny?
I'm good. Thank you, Kayla. You want a little intro?
Yeah, just a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm retired and I have been with WASART since about August of 2018. I serve on the fundraising committee and the shelter committee. I haven't done a lot of deployments because I have an arthritic knee, but when that's working, then I can go. I also signed up to learn how to do the call center calls. And I agree with Leo. I think the people who belong to WASART are just the best people in the world. And they share my love of animals and they are very supportive. I call on my fellow members all the time with, especially with technical help. It sort of goes whoosh, whoosh sometimes. And you can always find someone who's willing to help you out if you get stuck.
Thanks, Penny. All right, we will check back in. It looks like KO may have gotten their stuff sorted out. We'll check. If you want to pass, that's fine. Donnette, you might be on the phone. Anyone else who might, Barbara, welcome. We're just doing introductions. So we'll do one last round of check-in with everybody, and then we will move on and just like put something in the chat if you have any questions or anything. Let's see, KO. All right, totally fine.
Michaela,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Christy.
Oh, Christy. Okay. Okay.
I am actually in trailer one trying to do gear work. So I was struggling to get to identify. I was hoping to be incognito.
All right. KO, Christy is one of our longtime members and deals with a lot of equipment and making sure that our equipment is always ready to go, which I am always appreciative of as well. So thank you, Christy, for persistently checking back in. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, everyone.
All right. Okay, a couple more people have joined. We'll just check in with them. Barbara, I don't know I think you're the one who has checked in next. If you've got anything you'd like to tell us about, like especially why you're interested in WASART or what you get out of this presentation, that's what we're talking about right now. So I will pass this over to you. Okay, we can always hear from you later if you like, and we'll check in with, again, I'm having a very unusual name myself. I'm always careful about pronunciation. So Reese, is that correct? Oh, I see you, Barbara.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got in the meeting a little late. Through Portland Bureau of Emergency Management, I'm a net in training. I'd probably be a net, except that I've taken so many disaster prep for pets courses, and when I have a voice, I give talks to people and say, this is what you can do before something happens, so you don't freak yourself out and your pet, not to mention everybody else. So I'm real happy to learn more about you, and Joe Becker, who may be in this meeting, highly recommended you, and I'm a Joe Becker groupie, so you come highly recommended. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you, and thank you for joining today. We're very glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Reese. All right, how about David Michelle Ballard?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. We got in a little late having some computer issues here. What is it you would like to know?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're just doing the last of the introductions. We're just curious what you're looking for from this presentation, so that way we can make sure it's addressed.
I guess we're looking to find out more about what it is you do and what you expect from volunteers, what positions are available. My husband and I both absolutely love animals, and he's done search and rescue since he was young for people. So we're thinking this might be a good fit, possibly.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, we work a lot with human search and rescue, so there's a lot of crossover, and we are definitely friends with everybody. So we're glad to have you, and glad you have the experience, because there are some areas in which it is a different experience to do the human search and rescue, mostly the human part, although we tend to have human with what we're doing too. So we're glad to have everybody here. Let's see, a couple housekeeping notes. If you have questions, you're welcome to interrupt. You can also put them in the chat. It is being monitored by Leo and Kimberly. And the last one is just to make sure you are all aware we're recording this so we can put this online later. So if you are like, you know, wanted by the FBI or something, maybe make that keep your face blurred or something. I'm not sure. So we'll go ahead and get started, and let me share my screen. And I want to do this PowerPoint here and make sure that we are on the right page first. So give me a second here. And I will also introduce myself so that way you all know who I am. Let's see, presenter view. All right. Hopefully you can all see the screen.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. Yellow subtitles aren't currently available. I don't know, it's PowerPoint, it does what it wants. My name is Michaela Eves. My pronouns are she and her. I am the Public Information Officer for the Washington State Animal Response Team. I'm also a technical rescue team member, and I'm an operator there. And that basically means that I am certified to tell other people what to do during rescue situations. So that is part of what I do, and we'll get into what that means later. I've been with WASART for about 11 or 12 months. This week is our 15th anniversary. So we're glad that we've made it to 15 years. We're starting to not feel like the new kids on the block in terms of like search and rescues and agencies who can offer assistance when animals are in distress. Okay, so a little bit about the agenda. We've done the introductions, so congrats, we all made it through that. I'm going to talk about WASART and who we are and a little tiny bit of history, but we'll keep it to the stuff that we're doing. I have a couple of rescue stories for you. Then we've got a section on how to get involved, and then just kind of an open forum for if you have questions to ask us at the end, and we will try to have this done on time. All right. Our mission is helping animals and owners in emergencies. So this used to say disasters, but an emergency is an emergency, like whether or not that's like a flood or a fire, or you went hiking with your dog and your dog fell off a cliff, or you went outside to check on your horse in the morning and you find your horse has fallen into a well, which happens surprisingly often. That is what we're here for. Along the way, that means that we are helping the owners that are generally connected. We very rarely run into a situation where we need to help an animal and their owner is not on scene. For the most part, people who call us are people who love their animals very much and just have gotten into like some situation with them. A little tiny bit of history. So we came about because of Hurricane Katrina. So the two founders, Greta Cook and Gretchen McCallum, were previously in horseback search and rescue together, and Hurricane Katrina happened. And there was this incident where they saw like this dog being taken away from a boy that had to get on a bus to leave New Orleans. And it was very heartbreaking to see that, because there was no accommodation made for animals. You weren't allowed to take your animals. And in a lot of cases, people stayed home and did not evacuate Hurricane Katrina because they could not take their animals. So that was about a third of the people that stayed home. And if you consider about a third of the people that should have evacuated did not, you're looking at like a third of people did not leave because they could not take their animals. So that's a lot of people putting themselves in danger, and in some cases a lot of loss of life because they were not able to take their family with them, because a lot of them were staying because they, as many of us do, consider their animals to be family members. So Gretchen is a former attorney, and something attorneys are really great at is filling out forms and filing things and making sure deadlines are met. And so right after they met, they were granted 501c3 status very quickly in May of 2007. And the first deployment came December 2007. So in the intervening time, there was a lot of discussions with the police department and emergency management about who they were and what they were trying to do, because we're a fairly unique organization. In some cases, it's really hard to explain to people what it is that we do. And I think you can imagine, like at the beginning, when you are, when somebody comes to you and you're like the police department or the sheriff or something, and they're trying to explain to you like, no, you really want to just save the animal that has fallen off the cliff. It is, I think sometimes it might have been a hard sell. Oh, is there a video for this? Okay, you Leo, thank you hear that. I do recognize some people are on the phone, so I will try and be a little bit more descriptive about the slides as they come up. The last point on the slide is volunteer training started in January of 2008. So so I think what the sequence of events was like, they were called out to assist a mare that was down, and realized that if we're going to do this, we probably need to have some formal training on it. Their very first effort at rescuing this horse was like all they had for supplies was like a sheet of plywood and some old retired fire hose and a tarp. So things have come quite a way since then. Okay, next slide. How do we make a difference? So this slide is talking about the different things that we do. So as Barbara has mentioned that she does, talk to people about preparedness for disasters and letting them know what it is that they need to be ready for. Like when we've done, I've definitely been in booths where we are like disaster preparedness fairs and stuff like that. And a lot of times people will come by and like maybe 10% of people have a go bag ready to go in case there's a disaster. And maybe like 1% of those have a kit for their pet, because it doesn't occur to them that they need to take their pet with them as well. So some of what we do is try to convince them to do that. We can't be in all places all the time, unfortunately. So we have to make sure that people are ready as they can be for themselves. And we really like to help enable people to take care of themselves as much as they can. We do some partnering with community services, such as different humane societies or emergency management planners, to try and help be the voice of the animal when plans are being made for disasters. So we do quite a bit of sitting in on meetings and trying to make sure that people are accounting for, like, well, if you need to like have a cooling shelter for pets for during the summertime when things are hot, as they did last year, like how do we manage that? How do we figure that out? The thing that we actually do the most is technical rescue, and the thing we get called out on the most is like either dog or horse cases in which the dog is somehow or another stuck up a trail, either has fallen off of a cliff or has injured itself and can't get down and needs to be assisted down the trail. With horses, a lot of times it's like horses that are older and have arthritis and have laid down and can't get up or get stuck in some situation. We had one call for a horse that was stuck in a chicken coop. I'm not sure how that happened. And the horse self-rescued just before I got in and could like figure out what was going on. But it's the kind of thing that we get called for. This is helpful to us because we started out as a sheltering rescue at the very beginning, and there fortunately are not very many sheltering events that happen. So we realized that the bigger need was the technical rescue. We spend a lot of time and effort training for that, and that is most of what we do. Shelter setup and operations is the next item here, and that is, I mentioned we had a cooling shelter last year. That was when the temperatures got super hot. And we're not in the Northwest, we're not really set up for that. Most of us don't have air conditioning. So like if your apartment's going to get really hot and you have pets and you still have to go to work, like you don't want to be thinking about what's going on with your pet, and you don't want your pet to be suffering. So we partnered with King County Search and Rescue, and they had a couple of air-conditioned tents that we were able to use, up areas for people to bring their pets so they can be safe during those temperatures. Previous to that, we had a COVID shelter that Tacoma helped us out with in terms of like providing us a place, because we didn't know how COVID was going to go. We were imagining like, what if there were like, you know, thousands of people, and some of those people wouldn't have people to take care of their pets while they're in the hospital. So we had set up something for that. But usually it's wildfires in Eastern Washington and that kind of thing. Let's see, volunteer training. It is very important to us that people know what they're doing when they're on scene, but we also recognize that pretty much nobody is going to know what they're doing in some area or another. Like some of you are vet technicians, sometimes we get veterinarians, sometimes we get people who have done rope stuff, but nobody is going to know it all. And like in my case, like I'm not a pet professional or you know, a professional climber or anything. Like I'm a designer. So when I came to this organization, like nobody expected me to know how to do knots or set up pulley systems or anything. I think those things are really fun. It's not for everybody, but we do training here. So anything that you want to do, we are here to assist you with it. Just a couple little things about who we work with. This slide is titled Community Building Relationships. So we work a lot with local, state, and county jurisdictions. So that would be like the sheriff's department. They're usually the ones who end up calling us, or they can, like, if they don't want us in their county, they're the ones who say, you can't come here. Although that very rarely happens. We deal with emergency management a lot. We are technically considered an emergency management agency. We work with fire and law enforcement a lot. Sometimes we'll get calls from a fire department in like Grays Harbor that wants to know how to get a horse out of a ditch or something that they need some help with. We work with animal control. We work with other search and rescues. Human search and rescues aren't allowed to respond to animal calls, and they aren't allowed to rescue animals or have much to do with animals. So we will help them. And then sometimes when we need extra like people power, then they will assist us as well. So we're really grateful to be in a state that is very supportive of that. Lastly, we will often work with breed organizations and groups. So I know that there's a lot of politics around people who want to breed particular dogs or horses, or there are a lot of rescue groups or whatever. Our concern is making sure the animal is okay, not necessarily how it got to be in the situation it is. So we try to work with the now, regardless of what that means. All right. The next slide is some pictures of people, volunteers doing things. Like some people here are staffing an outreach booth at like a fair. There is a veterinarian who is showing like how to handle a goose appropriately, or ducks and chickens and stuff. Some of our trainers are veterinarians. Some are just like animal people in general, or people with a lot of experience. We've also got somebody climbing a tree, and the last one, we've got a whole family that has volunteered to assist with the ASPCA. And sometimes we will send volunteers with the ASPCA when they've got like large cases, like dog fighting cases, the need to take care of the animals there. So we just go and like basically just help clean kennels and stuff for them. So there's a lot of stuff to do. What is not represented here, but is the result of a lot of stuff represented here, are committees. So committees are things like Kimberly is in charge of the training committee. Penny is on the sheltering committee. So a lot of the work behind the scenes that needs to be done, it's stuff like data entry or organizing things. Like there's a fundraising committee that many of us have been on, in which we try to figure out like, how are we going to buy the next set of equipment we need, or how do we replace these ropes? So so there's all kinds of stuff you can do. It is not necessarily always like running out, getting in your car, driving to some trailhead, going up the trail and doing the rescue. A lot of the hard work is this committee stuff. So I've mentioned a lot of these committees. The slide now has them listed out. There's training, outreach, fundraising, technical rescue, merchandise, public relations, communications and technology, which is like radios and computers and stuff, supply, which is like equipment and inventory. There's a new water rescue team that we have started where we are learning how to be safe in the water when we are going to rescue like a dog that's across a river or horses that are in a flooded situation or something. We have a shelter and injury committee that helps with processes around shelters and training around shelters. And then we've got a membership committee, which is basically just making sure that the membership is doing okay and all the volunteers are getting lead. So deployments. Deployments are what we call when like we get a request from a police department or an owner or a veterinarian or somebody that says that they need assistance. So we'll get a call that comes in. We get probably, I think we average about 4 deployments a month. It's been slow the last years, possibly because of COVID. But we'll get a call and then a lot of times we are just referring those people to someone else because we have like a lot of phone numbers like for rescue agencies and stuff, or like if there's a cat in a tree, for example, we'll usually refer that to Canopy Cat Rescue because they're arborists and really great at getting cats out of trees. And so if we're not the appropriate place for it, we will try to help find somebody who is. Because at the end of the day, our goal is to help the animal and help the people that are concerned about it or like monitoring the situation. And however that help is needed, whether it's us in person or whether it's us providing phone numbers or assistance in some other way, then we're going to do that. So we operate using the ICS guidelines, which is the Incident Command System. It is a command system that was it was thought up by FEMA in response to Hurricane Katrina. It is something like it's an expandable kind of modular thing where like I might go on a rescue with everybody on this call here, and then we get on site and we decide, Penny, you are going to be in charge. You are the incident commander, and all the rest of us have little jobs underneath. The advantage of that is like what the fire department does. That is what other emergency agencies do. So that way everybody's kind of talking the same language. So we've spent a lot of time and training in making sure that we are able to fit in as seamlessly as possible with emergency management. We don't self-deploy. Self-deployment is this term like where like, say I'm driving down the road and I see like there is a dog on somebody's roof. I myself can't just stop and go and take care of that. Like I need to make sure that this whole process is followed. And that has to do with like trust from law enforcement. So sometimes this is hard. Like we can only respond if there has been a request for something. So so we can't initiate the request ourselves, but we can certainly help when somebody has asked for help. Our members are state emergency workers, and that means you are trained and credentialed for the specialty that we are operating under. And what that allows us to do is to respond anywhere within the state. And then we are also covered by the state insurance. So one of our founders likes to say that if you are not taking care of your volunteers, you don't deserve them. And I think that is definitely a thing we try to live by. We want to make sure that everybody is taken care of as much as possible. If you're a volunteer, you're going out there and you're like putting out a lot of effort and training and stuff. And we want to make sure that you are in the best position possible to both succeed and do so safely. Okay, couple little areas that we specialize in that I thought we could talk about, especially because a couple people on this call have mentioned them. The emergency animal sheltering which is the thing that got us started, is something that just kind of comes. It's a little bit of a longer sort of deployment situation where we'll have it be from like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days to, we've done it like up to 6 or 8 weeks in some cases. Like there was a horse neglect case here in Pierce County, and we ended up like managing a lot of volunteers from both WASART and other agencies coming in, and we took care of the scheduling and all that stuff. But that is there are some procedures that you need to make sure that you're following to make sure everyone's safe and make sure that animals are safe. So that is one of the things we do. Technical rescue is the other. I think I've talked about this a little bit so far, but this is mostly horses and dogs, although we've had cows and cats and pretty much anything. Our clientele are domestic animals, like companion animals like dogs, and livestock. So like horses, cows, alpacas, llamas, really anything that you might have on a farm. We do not do exotics. So like if somebody wants to talk to us about their tiger that crawled into their heating vent and can't get out, then we will have to refer that out to somebody else. If it's something like a snake or a reptile or something, we've got some friends that do that. But we very much, if we don't think we can do something that we have training for and have a reasonable chance of doing it successfully, then we'll either find somebody who can, or we'll let the person who is asking us know. So we're only going to be honest with people and try to do the best that we can, and not up anybody for disappointment or not being successful in a situation. Okay, so I have 2 stories to tell you today. The first one is the one I usually show people, and this is this horse over a cliff. If you're on the phone and can't see the slide, there is this horse is a fjord, which means this kind of this pale colored, slightly larger than pony horse, and she's standing on a very narrow ledge on a cliff. She has fallen quite a ways. However, she got there. She was missing for a few days. She has
trying to get more.
She is currently has a harness made out of retired fire hose on her, and then some webbing and stuff. And at this point in this rescue that we see this photo, they have found her after her being missing for a couple days. This is in the, I believe, Woodinville area where there's lots of like gullies and stuff, and she was just kind of in a space where she wasn't able to really get out on her own. So what we did is we built this harness for her out of fire hose, because that is the technology that we worked with at the time, and we got ready to raise her. Up above there is a group of people that are all ready to assist her. Let's see, where did my slide go? Okay, this slide is a montage of a couple of different stages of this rescue. So she is working on getting up the hill. There is a yellow strap that is at an angle on this slide, and that kind of shows you the angle of the incline that she's trying to get up. So this happened in a couple of different stages. The first stage was pulling her vertically up about 30 feet or so, and then the remaining 30 or 40 feet was in having this yellow vehicle recovery strap on her as a harness, and helping her, like just giving her a little bit of an assist up the hill. We had a vet there that gave her a little bit of sedative, and that kind of helps them down and work with us, not too much, so that way, you know, they're still able to do some stuff. But she was as most animals that we deal with, really just trying her best to assist us in helping her. So her name was Gemma, and this is how she got up the hill. At the top of the hill, there were probably about 60 fire department people that were helping pull. we do a lot of pulleys and pulley systems, and with that comes like some math about how how much harder it gets when you're pulling like 1,200 pounds up an incline over like limbs and stumps and little sticky areas and stuff, and the forces increase very dramatically. So we ended up needing quite a few people for this. I realized as I was reviewing the slide for this that this might be a little bit of a scary to see that the story of Gemma, like, that seems super complicated, like how can I do that? But the thing is, like, that story is very much an outlier in terms of like the amount of technical skill that goes into it. At the time, that was the most difficult thing that we had ever done. We have done some other more difficult ones since, and fortunately we had we had some experiences to help us out along the way. But I wanted to show you something that is very typical of what we do almost all the time, especially during the summer, which is we'll get a call for a dog that is up a trail. So what will happen is sometimes it's a dog that like was off leash and chased a squirrel off and is now injured and needs help down. In some cases, it is they've overheated or they have cut their paws, burned their paws. There are a couple trails that are especially like deceptive, where it seems like everything's fine, and then you get to kind of an elevation where the sun's been baking the rocks all day, and something happens with the dog, like they hurt themselves and then they just do not want to go on. So we'll go up and we will take these litters up with us. That is what this there's Finland in this picture, and he is kind of nestled in this human size and shape sled, and we've packed him in with some packaging, which is like the sort of egg cratey foam things that people sleep when they go camping. It's like the most minimal thing you can take with you camping, but it works really well for keeping dogs from sliding around on in this litter as we wheel them out. And so what we'll do is we will go up, we will set up this litter, we will hopefully with the assistance of the owner put the dog into the litter, and then strap them down and wheel them down. So this litter attaches to a wheel. The photo or the image that I just advanced a slide to is the litter has been lifted up, and there is basically a unicycle wheel that is attached to the bottom with some, and then everybody kind of takes turns wheeling them down. And there's like a person that is on the brakes. There are some people that are making sure that it's level. And in particular photo, there are a lot of people in red. The people in red, with the exception of one person who has his head turned away from the camera, are all members of Explorer Search and Rescue for King County. So that is the human search and rescue. And in this particular case, this dog's name was Sam. There were only like 2 or 3 of us available that day to go up and help, and we need probably 8 or 10 people to help wheel an animal down because it's a lot of physical work. So King County Search and Rescue was available and willing to come out with us on this rescue. So we're super grateful to them, and I know at least one of you involved in human search and rescue and another was thinking about it. You kind of get both worlds when you are joining WASART, because you get to hang out with these fine folks and you get to hang out with us too. And this particular slide is just like one last view of basically what it looks like wheeling an animal down. The Newfoundland is relaxing in the litter. He's kind of got his head propped on the handrail looking at the camera, and everybody else is about to reach the trailhead and hand him back over to his owner, so that way they can put him in the car and take him to a vet to check out whatever the issue with him might be. So last picture of this guy. He was a super sweet dog, and this is the guy in the photo who is kneeling beside Sam, undoing his buckles, is Jeff. He is the person who runs our technical rescue team. He's also a retired veterinarian. I wanted to bring that up because one quick thing, if we have a lot of veterinarians and a lot of vet techs, and we want to make sure that if that is you, your profession is respected. So we don't expect you to behave as a vet or a licensed vet tech when you are on a call. If you are going to do that, we'll ask you to sign out and work with the owner on behalf of the owner. So you are able to share whatever knowledge you want, but like, this isn't our way of getting people free vet care or free animal care in that way. It's mostly, we want to make sure that your education and your training is respected. Let's see. Next steps. A couple of you asked about this, so fortunately, here. What we'll have you do is sign up as a member if this is of interest to you. Leo has just put a link to both the rest of Sam's story, which you saw, along with some extra photos, and then a link to where you would go to sign up online for this. You would attend trainings. The next important training for you is in March, I believe March 19th, and that is a base and operations training, and that is the main training you need to be able to go out. We just want to make sure that you have some base covered, and then you'll go out as like a trainee, and then we will we'll just make sure that, like, if it's your first deployment or something with us, then we'll probably have you just do some like easy things like, please go get us a towel so we can package this dog in better or something. So like totally as low stress as possible there. There are some certifications you'll need to complete, like FEMA. Unfortunately, we can't get out of doing the FEMA training, but on the other hand, it's also kind of interesting sometimes. And then I mentioned you'll join a deployment as a trainee, and that is mostly us like making sure that you are safely onboarded and understand what it is as expected of you when you're on the field. Your job as a trainee, the first few deployments, is just to not know what's going on and pay attention and just like look at and watch things, and it is totally okay. We have all been there. We've all started not knowing anything, and that's just part of it. So a couple links here. Those have been put into the chat. Just to read this out in case anybody would like to hear them. The main one for signing up is wasart.org/volunteer, and then trainings is wasart.org/trainings-events. And let's see, and then I have an email address here, but honestly, any of the email addresses you find on the website should get to the person because we all kind of know each other. There's a question on the chat. Is this all Basin County, or are there other locations in the state? So we are incorporated in King County, but we're a very centralized station. We don't have like specific locations. Most of our, we can respond anywhere in Washington state. And if we need to, we can get permission to respond to other states like Oregon. It's basically, if we have enough volunteers that are close enough, then we can send someone. Otherwise, we can do other things like we can try to talk somebody through it on the phone or whatever. Almost all of our deployments and responders are along the I-5 corridor and I-90 corridor. And the closer it is to Seattle, the more likely it is going to be in this area. I think a lot of that is people know that we're here. That's where people tend to go hiking. The police and sheriff's departments know to hand any calls over to us for that. And that's where a lot of it is, although we've definitely had events over in like Wenatchee and Chelan and Okanagan, that kind of stuff. One of the last slides here is this volunteer training thing. I've talked about this a number of times. Just we'll help you out. The rest that includes like pulley systems, or if you know how to do a knot, like we'll show you one, and we can get you started on that. If you decide going over a cliff is not the thing for you, totally okay. We have other things that we can always use help with. And here's a little training calendar. March for Basin operations, which is the main training you need. And then we've got transport in April, which is very handy if you have no idea to drive anything with a trailer. Like we'll show you how to back up with a trailer, which is always fun and stuff. But we've also got some people who are professional truckers and stuff that will come and help us with that. So it's great. I've learned a lot. I don't like drive a trailer a whole lot, but I know enough now that if I'm driving next to one and I look at the chains and they're not crossed, then I know that maybe I follow that one very closely. And then we've got emergency animal sheltering coming up in May, and then a few other things. Technical rescue and water rescue are monthly trainings. You do not have to have completed your other trainings. If you are a member, you can just show up for those and we'll just start training you. Let's see, I'm looking at the comments. Donna and I are official South Central Washington. I got a call from Kate Beardsley and Rebecca about a horse stuck in a bog. There are only 2 of us on this side of it. Yep, that are certified. Yes, we would love to talk to both of you. And we're here to help you however that is. You are welcome, especially since you've had some TLAR training, to come up and train with us anytime. Every other month is the heavy animal training stuff, which would help you with the refreshing of the TLAR stuff. So yeah, let us know how we can assist you with that more. All right. That is it for me and my PowerPoint deck. Yes, thank you, Leo. TLAR is technical large animal rescue. What questions do you all have for us?
Hi, this is Lenore. So I was kind of going through all the stories that you have on your website, which are fun to read, but it looks like there's a lot of dogs that fall over cliffs. So I was just curious, you know, it seems like there'd be a requirement for a lot of folks to be rappelling certified. Is that something, if I were to pursue on my own, would be of use to the organization, or do you guys provide rappelling training, or how does that work?
We definitely provide that training.
Okay.
It is like, there are some things that you'll learn in regular like rescue stuff that we do differently. Definitely having any kind of knowledge will help, but we're not expecting you to take care of that training yourself. And as a bigger bonus for having that training with us is you start to work with us as a team. So like if we're saying, hey, Lenore, would you be the attendant and go ahead and get, tied in and stuff, and then we'll come and do safety check and we'll get you ready to go. And so you'll know like what it is that's expected of you, that kind of thing. So like, I didn't know any rappelling. Most people who are doing it didn't know any. Some people do. And then we'll have to be like, no, we use 2 ropes for safety, because we always have these redundant backups and we overbuild everything because this isn't a recreational activity and we want to make sure you're safe. So yeah, you can just come and we'll take care of your training.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're all also welcome to ask other WASART people that are here, so that you're not just getting the official PR version from me, but maybe you'd like to ask like, Penny, how is it really? Betsy, how often do you actually get called out? And do you actually like it? That kind of thing. So I want to make sure that you understand everybody else is available here too. Do we do
Put in
training?
my plug for always wanting people with technical support. If anybody knows WordPress or email problems or any of those kinds of things, we can always use help on the technical side as well. If you are a ham radio operator, we use ham very infrequently, but the skills you learn to become a ham radio operator are things that we use. We do use commercial radios of the same style. So that's also something that you may be interested in bringing to the table. If you have a background in training, training is an area where we can always use more help, more assistance in basically getting the people that volunteer for us as educated and as safe about what they do as is possible. So to throw those out at least.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Leah.
And our March Basin operations training will be at Remlinger Farm Carnation on March 19th. I can't remember if that's a Saturday or a Sunday. And we would love to have you come out. If you're a member, then it's $100 for the training to pay for all the supplies and everything that it costs for us to put the training on. If you're not a member, it's $130, but we'll convince you to put 30 of that dollars towards your membership, and then you will be a WASART member. And if you deploy throughout the year and do basic recertification work and training, then that will help you stay certified. If you don't, if you go through the training and you go through Basin operations and you let that lapse for 3 years and you don't do anything, you will need to take it again. But we really do enjoy having people come out and get trained, and it's a lot of fun. Half the training is online, and then the other half of the training is a one-day hands-on. Everybody gets together and learns a lot. It won't teach you everything you need to know, but it's a really good introduction to what we do. And we'd love to have you guys come out and participate in that. If you can't make it in March, the next one is in June, on June 19th. And that one is going to be up north in Snohomish. We try and spread our trainings out to give everybody an opportunity. And then in September, we'll have one down here in Buckley. And so even if you're interested in sheltering, if you want to do any sort of deployment, you do have to be Basin operations certified. And it really is a fun day of hands-on playing with dogs and horses and people and learning all kinds of good things. And so, like Lenore, you have a lot of hiking experience, climbing and such. Those kind of skills are really valuable to us. And we will certainly teach everybody what they need to know in order to work within our confines and with our equipment. So would love to have you come out.
Thank you, Kimberly. There was a question about if the training we do, the large animal training, is similar what is done in TLR, which is the technical large animal emergency animal rescue. Yeah, we actually learned almost everything we know from Dr. Husted, who was referred to along with Kate Beardsley. Traveled down to Bend to assist with some of the training, and a couple other places too. I think there's another place in Oregon we've gone to assist with the training. So we love her, and she's great, and we do, like, most of our stuff is pretty much exactly the same stuff that she trains. The only thing that we do not include in our training that she is very good at is stuff like barn fires, because we're just not experts at it. Like, she's a firefighter as well, and so she's very good about talking through barn fires and stuff. So definitely worth taking the course from her, but is the same stuff. We're very hands-on with, like, practicing the techniques and things. Anything else? Any last minute questions? You've got 2 minutes.
Quick question. The transport training sounds so fun on the April 10th, but I have a conflict that day. Is that going to be offered maybe later this year, or is that pretty much just a once-a-year thing?
At this particular time, transport is only offered once per year. I am working on trying to figure out how to add that in the calendar to get in mini practices, because one of the biggest things is people don't have the ability to pull a trailer in their everyday lives to get the experience that we need. Mm-hmm. And so that is a topic of conversation on a regular basis within our committee and our organization, because a lot of people do want to help pull the trailers and support that part of the deployment. And so, yeah, we need to figure out how to do that more often. More to follow.
Thank you.
Do you guys have your own trailers or trucks, or people use their own POVs?
We have our own trailers. Earlier, Christy had noted that she was in trailer 1 doing some work. She's down here in Enumclaw working on one of our technical rescue trailers and doing inventory. And then we have a box van up north at Taylor's Landing in Snohomish County that we use for anything north of I-90. We also have AKC trailers that were donated to us, and we have 2 of those, one in each location. And we pull those, and then people, if they want to pull their own trailers when we have like a sheltering deployment and they want to help furry, or I don't remember the word I was trying to think of, move horses and cows and things from one area to another, we can certify personal vehicles and personal trailers as well for those types of situations.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I have one ton that has a gooseneck and every kind of hitch on it. So, and a CDL. So.
But no trailer.
Excellent.
No, just a small trailer now. Yeah, I'm a CDL driver. So. How many members are there in the technical rescue side of things?
So I think membership in WASART breaks down like every other organization, where you've got a lot of people and then a much smaller circle of people who do a lot of the stuff. So we have about 50 members altogether, and I'd say a little more than half are certified to go out and do things. And then technical rescue, it ends up being probably about 15-ish people that are at the trainings. And of those, maybe most of those will show up like on some response or another. So the technical rescue training team ends up being like a self-selected group of about 10 to 15 people.
I'm very interested in that side because I have a fire department background, search and rescue background, water rescue, wildland fire. So
awesome. Yeah, we'd love to talk to you about that.
Teach high angle rescue for firefighters. So
cool. That's awesome. Yeah, we'd love to chat with you about that.
I'm missing the volunteer stuff, so it's time to get back involved.
We can
one of the things that's probably worth emphasizing is that if you do end up volunteering for us in a capacity that has you able to go out, there is no requirement that you go out. If you get the call, it's up to you whether you're in a position for whatever reason to actually make the call. That's why one of the reasons, what made me think of this was Michaela's talk about the number. I mean, we may have 8, 10, 15 qualified technical rescue people, but they're not all required to show up every time. It's usually a subset, and that has to do with how they're feeling, what they're doing, are they at jobs? A lot of the WASART volunteers all have day jobs that in some cases can be very flexible, in other cases can't. And that's all taken into consideration. The bottom line is that there is no shame if you can't deploy to, if you can't respond to a call. It's wonderful if you can, but it's totally understood if you can't. So.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, we're out of time. We're happy to keep answering questions, but we also understand that people apparently have lives. I don't know what that's like, but if you need to move on with your day, totally understandable. So, but we'll be here until your questions are done.
If you are leaving, thank you for being here. We really appreciate your attending and listening to us. Go hit that volunteer link that's in the chat if you haven't already, and learn more and sign up. We'd love to see you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.